So, do men hit the wall? I don't know. What you think? You tell me. Pause the video. Go down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Now that you have done that, let me give you my opinion. Look around in the society and see the most successful people. Look at them. See how old they are. Look their name ups. Look their names up. Look up their age. You'll be able to know how old they are pretty quickly, right? We're living in the age of internet. All the information is in our palm of our hand. And then look up the women that they dated. I promise you, 9 times or 8 times out of 10 of these successful men have dated or are dating currently women who are younger than them. So, what does that tell you? That tells you that women are attracted to men with success, money, power. I mean, that's no brainer, status. We have known this for thousands of years, hundreds of years. Even if you go all the way back to the caveman days, right? The men who were the alpha males, the men who were dominant, the men who were able to protect and provide for himself and his female and the offsprings. We're usually getting all the ladies, pretty much, quote unquote, right? You see that in the animal kingdom as well. Look at tigers, look at lions, look at um, chimpanzees, monkeys. You see the same exact narrative everywhere you look at. It's funny actually, Jordan Peterson mentioned, I was watching one of his videos the other day, he actually mentioned this in a video that there was a study done, and I don't have the details of this, you can look it up on your own. There was a study done that said that women are usually, on average, are more attracted to men who are 4 years older than them. Now, why is that the deal? I'm not saying just look at only men who are 4 years older than them. I'm just saying men in general who are older than them. And no, don't come at me saying, "Oh, he's a day older than her, so he might be in the same category." No, 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 no. When I say men who are older than women, when I'm talking about older men, I'm talking about at least a 10-year or 8-year age gap. And the reason behind that is this, is because men, we start building our wealth, we start building our business, our financial kingdom, our empire, typically from, like it starts, we start, let me take that back. We start building it from when we're like in our late teens, early 20s, if we are smart with our time. And by the time we get to our mid 30s or late 30s, that's when we start seeing results. Usually it takes about 10 years or so to build something solid. Now, depending on what you do, whatever line you're working in, that might take less, that might take more, right? So, those guys can easily date down to mid 20s or even early 20s because now they have their stuff together and they're not stopping there. They're going to keep going because in their mind they have this unstoppable mindset. I've come here, okay, what's next? What's next do I have to conquer? And that is a very attractive trait for females. That's a very attractive that's a very attractive trait for men that attracts men to women. And that's when we ask ourselves that, well, is there an age limit then where men stop being attractive to women? Or is there only a financial limit? The answer is simple, fellas. There's the financial limit. Because if you look at, let's just talk about Hugh Hefner, okay? We all know who Hugh Hefner is, the Playboy guy, Playboy Mansion dude. Well, we already know how many women he had around him. He married, like, I don't know how old she was. I think she was in her 30s or 40s or something like that when he was, 70s or 80s. I can't remember how old Hugh Hefner is. You have to fact check me on this one, okay? This guy was rolling in his bed with hundreds of women. Man, that is insane. He was having orgies at his mansion. with his old buddies. They all why? Because they all had money, status, and power. Now, I'm not saying that these women were physically attracted to them. At that age, when you're 70 plus, your body's probably not working at the level it was working when you were 30 or 40 or even 50. Like Hugh Hefner, he didn't look overweight even when right before he died. He didn't look overweight. He looked like he maintained his physique somewhat. Like throughout his whole life, if you look at him, he wasn't the really very muscular dude. He wasn't really a twig. He was like an average looking guy when it comes to his physical appearances, right? But so he maintained that. So maybe he was performing somewhat with the help of other pills, but that was mainly just for himself. It wasn't trying to impress anybody. It was he. I don't think he really even cared if he impressed anyone. In one of his interviews I watched, he said the key to feel young is to surround yourself with younger people. That's the mindset he was living by. He only lived for himself. He didn't care whose feelings he hurt, what girl didn't like what he did, and none of that. That's completely irrelevant. And girls were fighting over him right and left to be in pictures with him. That girl who he married, the girl who he finally put a ring on, do you really think she didn't have any competition? Do you think that she didn't have to prove herself to him? This guy's 70 plus, and there's babes out here who are like eights, nines and tens really, who are fighting over this guy. So obviously it's clear to us that no, men don't really hit a wall. Now there's obviously a biological wall that everybody hits. That's a duh. But the problem that women don't seem to understand is that the matter of the fact that women don't understand, which becomes problematic for them, is that women's biological wall is their prime wall, because the thing that attracts women to us is their biology, is their physique, is their body, is how they look. Now we can try to put that in however way we want. There's if you look at female watching pornography versus male watching pornography, males watch a lot more visual stuff. Females read a lot of books, pornography books. If you look at the sales in pornography and when it comes to reading, women are the ones who have higher numbers. But when it comes to watching stuff, men have the higher numbers. So there's another reason why Fifty Shades of Grey was the fastest selling, best whatever book that there was out there at that time. And most of its, if not all of its, I wouldn't say all, I'm sure there's some guy buying that book, but most of its buyers were women. So that automatically tells you that men fall in love with their eyes. Men like what they see. So that's why women have to hold their body tight. This is why Botox exists. This is why skin cleanse, and all this other type of crap product that exists. When you see these products on commercial, who are the models that they're portraying using these products? It's always females. There's rarely any men who's doing this. It's usually men's face wash or men's products that they have male models doing when they're advertising some male products. But when it comes, and we don't even see that many times compared to the female products being sold on TV, on online. The number of commercials we see on female products is far greater than the number of commercials we see on male products, because females dominate this market, this industry: beauty, makeup, face wash, etc., etc. You name it. Why? Because everybody knows, even if it doesn't sound politically correct, everybody still knows that it's the females' looks, women's looks that attract men. And it's men's status, money, power is what attracts them to women. This is why you see commercials on cars, commercials on real estate, commercials on, I don't know, opening your new business or opening some sort of manufacturing company. any kind of stuff like that. You see male models on those commercials because that's the narrative they push. Even though in today's society and in current time that we're living in, every commercial we see female models because females are empowering and they can do it all and equal rights and equal opportunity and this and that. But with that setting aside, you guys kind of see what I'm talking about here, right? Because there's two different narratives, one for females, one for males. This is why females' biological wall is so important, is because that is the only wall that they have to work with. And they have zero control over it. They cannot stop aging. They cannot stop themselves from aging. It's going to happen. They cannot stop time. They have zero control over that. Yeah, they can work out. Yeah, they can eat healthy when they're on their early 20s and push that wall a little bit behind, a little bit further away. But they're going to hit that biological wall someday. Same thing with men. We're going to hit the biological wall, even though how much weights we're lifting, how much we're eating, how much we're taking care of our skin, this and that. I mean, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. This guy looked like a beast in his prime, but now his skin looks wrinkly. His body doesn't look as good. So it's obvious to us that men do have a biological wall just as much as women do. Same exact philosophy, same exact concept applied to men when it comes to their biological wall. But that biological wall is not what attracts. Biology is not what attracts men to women primarily. Primarily in a sense that that is not the only primary thing that's attractive to women. Because men have money, power, status, those things going on for themselves as well. They can use those things to attract more and more women or the same women. If these women are not attracted to his looks, maybe they'll look at his money, maybe they'll look at his status. If he can show it to them, if they know that he has money, he has status, now they're going to compensate for his looks. And that wall, the wall of money, the wall of power, the wall of status, that doesn't have any age limit in it. And we can perfectly control that as men. That's all on us. How much money we can make, how successful we can become, how much power we can get. I mean, money equals power, right? You're going to get the power eventually when you have money. Money makes the world go around. Even if you're a doctor, let's say you might want to come here and argue with me. Oh, money doesn't get you power, really. Okay, so let's say you're a doctor. You're not a gangster, some drug dealer or something, cartel. You don't work for the cartel and you don't make fast money. That's why you don't have that type of power, right, over people. But let's say you're a doctor. Let's say you're a neurosurgeon. You make $800,000 a year. Let's say you save that. Let's say or you invest it, buy some real estate properties, buy a couple apartment complexes. Now your net worth goes up to 2, 3, 4, 5, even up to 5 mil, right? A year becomes your net worth. You don't think you can buy power with that? You don't think you can buy powerful people or you can't associate yourself with powerful people? Hang out with powerful people? That automatically brings your power and status up. So money can get you anything you want in this world, except confidence, happiness, things that we cannot put a measure on. Non-intangible things. If it's tangible, money can get you that. Clear and simple. Which is why men don't really hit the wall. The wall is very definite for women, and that is a biological wall. The wall for men, you have options. You have your biological wall, you have your financial wall, you have your status wall, etc., etc. Now, status can also come in social status, personal status, interpersonal status, in all sorts of different ways, right? So even status breaks down into different categories. Money, that can come into way various form. You can have multiple sources of income, which is what most successful people have. And each individual paths that you have in your life created to generate this type of income has a quote unquote wall, has a limit if you put that limit on there. If you don't, there is no limit on each of these streams of income. So now you have multiple quote unquote walls that you can either have or that you can break. Either you can set yourself in front of that wall, or you can break through that wall and keep going. There's multiple different walls or different paths in your life as a man that you can do that in. Not just your biological wall. Because let's admit it, most average looking guys, we're not blessed with that genetic. We didn't win the genetic lottery. We're not blessed with good looks. We're not blessed with athleticism. So we have to find other things, which is unfortunate for women, because all they have to rely on is their looks. But at the same time, it's not that hard for them either. This is why I don't feel bad for them, because an average man will compensate for a woman who has an average looking face or even an ugly face, as long as her body is perfect or pretty darn close to be perfect. Now that definition of perfect is subjective based on different individuals, right? Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But let's just say in a general sense, if she has a nice body, if she works out, takes care of her body, takes care of her skin, takes care of her hair, any average looking successful man will take her up. And if she's young, obviously, right? And no, I'm not saying that most men who are successful will take a girl in her 20s, in her early 20s, and then use her for a few years and then dump her and then find somebody else. No. If most guys out here are not like that. Most guys out here just want to find a good girl who they want to settle down with. Which is why females need to understand that and trade in that their sexual prime time for a high value man, for a successful man, which is what they fail to do in today's society. It's very depressing and very sad to see, is that they just waste their prime sexual time down the toilet. Just completely drain it out. So, ladies, if any of you are watching this, just be smart with it, okay? This time is never gonna come back to you. This early 20s, this late teens, this is never gonna come back to you. And you're wasting it doing useless things, worthless things. And then you pull your hair by the time you're in your mid-30s and you can't find a good man. Where have all the good men gone? I made a video on that. Go check it out. Guys, I hope this video made sense. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't ever get discouraged that you think you're too ugly or somebody called you ugly. Somebody called you fat. If somebody called you fat, go take your butt to the gym. Prove them wrong. If somebody called you ugly, make 10 times more money than they can ever even imagine, and then laugh at them. You can't do anything about the fact that you're ugly. That's how you're born. So don't dwell over that. Don't sit there and cry over that. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't ever get discouraged by other people's words. Yes, there's going to be tons of hateful words and comments and individuals out there who are out there to take you down, to tear you apart. Because if they don't do that, they don't feel good themselves. Their life is so miserable. They have no direction in their life. And when they see somebody with direction, guys, nothing is more powerful than an individual with direction, an individual with vision. When they see somebody like that, they can't stand that. It literally attacks the sole purpose of their existence. Everything that they believe, their whole belief system starts crashing down on them, which is why they need to lash out on you so that they don't go crazy and they don't kill themselves. Think about it like that, fellas. If you need to talk, I'm always here. I'm always here to hear your stories. Hope this video made sense. Until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and above all, stay classy.